What's up, guys? So I'm trying again with another live stream, see what happens. If not, I'll just upload the video. But anyway, I want to talk about the Toronto Raptors parade. So their victory parade. Congratulations to the Toronto Raptors. They are the first Canadian team to win an NBA championship. They are probably going to go down in history as being one of the least known entities going into the NBA playoffs and then becoming legends in the Toronto basketball scene, if not throughout the whole Canadian basketball scene. These Toronto Raptors, Kawhi Leonard, Kyle Lowry, these are going to be known as some of the greatest Canadian basketball players in all time. Maybe even better than Vince Carter. I don't know. I really truly loved Vince Carter, so I don't necessarily think that Kawhi is better or that Kyle Lowry is better, but as a team, I think that together, Gasol, Ibaka, Siakam, all of these players together played better than any Toronto team we've had before. They played better than any Vince Carter-led Toronto Raptors team. So I do believe that this is the greatest Toronto Raptors team that we've seen as a team, not necessarily as individual players, but it's a team game. You need a team to win. So congratulations to them. It was an amazing victory. The games were incredibly exciting to watch, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I made a video talking about the one game when I thought they were trying to shoot too many threes. You know, we rectified that, and we just took what we had and we made the best of our opportunities, and that led us towards victory in Game 5 and Game 6. So the biggest thing I want to talk about in this video, though, is not even the fact that the Raptors won. Congratulations to them. It was an amazing victory. But the parade that happened afterwards was marred by a ton of different issues. Shootings, stabbings. This was one of the big things that I wanted to quickly report about. You know, you had a shooting happening at Nathan Phillips Square where 4 victims, 4 people were shot, 3 people arrested. There's a video of people being taken down by the police. So there was multiple incidences. So there was a stabbing and there were shootings. So if you see here, it is disappointing, and I'm sure it's a source of anger for more than just me that anyone would carry a gun and discharge it at what was otherwise a joyous celebration. So what probably happened was you had a few crews that were coming to party. They were coming to celebrate their favorite team, and they ended up probably seeing maybe somebody that had beef with, somebody that they had been threatening, or somebody that had been beefing with them, and they saw these people, probably both sides, just going to party. They probably weren't going there to shoot somebody. They probably weren't going there to stab somebody. But when things happened and when these people ran into each other, shots started firing, knives came out, and as you see here, they were taking down one of the suspects and trying to assist some of the stabbing and shooting victims. And it's really interesting that a day that was filled with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, most of these perpetrators haven't even been caught. So a lot of these people got away with what they did, and now we have, you know, their photos are being ran through the media trying to get these people to be captured for the crimes they committed. To me, it's just interesting when you see a city as galvanized as Toronto was after this victory, that just becomes so marred by violence in a city that is supposed to be coming together because of a great celebration, because of a great victory by a great team. And this gets marred by stabbings and shootings. And this is just indicative of where our society is going and how we as people need to truly look at our society in a different way, and not just be celebrating all of the good things, but also looking at kind of the reality of what's happening and how our cities are becoming more dangerous. But this is not really something to talk about, with the Raptors, because this is, it's not like the Raptors caused this. This wasn't some riot like what happens in a lot of American cities following Super Bowl victories or following massive, Stanley Cup or whatever. This is more a few bad apples that got thrown into a toxic environment and reacted violently. And that's really all that was. Now I want to show you these couple of pictures because it's funny, because my friend was actually there on the day of the parade, and he was there during the parade but also during the aftermath of the parade, and he made took a couple of pictures, and in the comments on his Facebook he basically said gunshots or garbage and gunshots, and that was his kind of feeling of how he felt when he was coming into Toronto and seeing how the environment was and how the government was. It's interesting. Sorry, a video started playing there, so I had to shut it down. But it's interesting how things that were so peaceful and so joyous become such a scene of horror, and how so many just disregard their city by just littering and just not caring about the environment or anything around them. And this ties into the video that I made earlier about climate change and how we need to really start caring about the environment. But this massive parade just shows you how quickly we are able to just turn into our baser selves and just not care about anything but the immediate gratification and the celebration that is happening. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Raptors or try to say that we shouldn't celebrate their victory, because we absolutely should. What I'm trying to say is that we shouldn't devolve into litterers and primitive violence just because we see somebody we're beefing with, or just because we don't see a garbage can around, or just because we don't give a shit and there's so many people and everybody else is doing it, so I'm just going to do it anyway. Mob mentality. And this creates a very, very disastrous outcome, not only for those that are simply just wanting to go party and end up caught in the crosshairs of somebody that they were maybe beefing with, or maybe somebody that they had some sort of altercation with, or maybe even they just said something that day and that led them to getting stabbed or shot. And that's an interesting caveat for another conversation, but the reality needs to be discussed that even in Toronto, it's becoming more common for stabbings and shootings to happen on a daily basis. These cities are very, very densely populated, so you're going to have many, many incidents like this. Whether there's a parade or not, or whether the Toronto Raptors win or not, it doesn't really matter. But the factor just needs to be discussed that these incidences are not isolated, and they're going to keep happening. But it just strikes me as being